We have officially left Place Japan, so I'm going to rank every Fortnite Battle Royale at Chapter 6 season from worst to best, starting with... This is probably going to be my most controversial placement. Season 3 Super was actually my least favourite season of this chapter. I know a lot of people had a super time during this season, but in truth I really kinda didn't. This is a season that I just couldn't connect with. However, that's not to say that it was bad. In fact, even at the very bottom of this ranking, I think that there's a lot that Super did pretty well. I think the Battle Pass, while not the strongest, since half of it is 20-something-year-old women or DC collabs, has a nice sense of unity tying together the Supernovas as a group. Supernova Academy has a fun layout, Utopia City is kind of a downgrade from the former Seaport City, in my opinion, but Demon's Domain is a super awesome drop spot as well. The Hyperburst pistol is the greatest thing to ever happen to me, and having no red dot ARs is really refreshing. Then there's the superpowers, and this is where the season just kind of felt weak to me. Most of the superpowers are just not very interesting, and there aren't that many of them. You have an admittedly pretty enjoyable mobility item in Light Rider's Surf Cube, but at the end of the day it's just another mobility item. Another fairly enjoyable mobility item in the Base Boost, another mobility item in the Hello Crows, and Satan. I could go on for a while about how much I detest the Storm Beast item. It's so absurd that I really don't know how it got past QA testing at all. Then on the other hand, you've got the Superman power, which is incredibly weak, actually less strong than the regular old ray gun item from chapter 2. So at that point you're all hype moments and aura and no actual power. The hero ranking edition is super awesome though, and so are the Spire mini-boss fights. Like, even though this is my lowest rated season, and I do have some issues with it, it is just not a bad season. However, the issues that I do have, and the incredibly bland theming, sorry, heroes are cool and all, but the cookie cutter superhero academy stuff just isn't doing it for me, just brings it down a little. Also, maybe this is just me, maybe this is a me issue, but I kind of felt like Battle Royale was shafted for a lot of this season in favor of the new Blitz game mode for mobile. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. But Morgan Mist is a hottie, so we'll allow it.
Big Chungus.
Now for the season you probably expected to be in dead last. It's the first formal mini-season, Galactic Battle. A Star Wars themed season is admittedly something I've been dreading for years. We've had more than enough Star Wars collabs, and honestly the fans begging for this seemed just a little greedy to me. But maybe I'm just salty that Doctor Who never happened. Especially because, unlike a lot of those same people, I actually ended up enjoying Galactic Battle quite a lot. The Battle Pass, I don't know why people hate the collab mashup skins so much, they're the only thing making me give a fuck here. Apprentice Eevee is awesome, and that cuddle thing is also here. The gimmick of infinite ammo this season was a little hit or miss, sure, but overall I enjoyed it. It was a little busted and pretty easily exploitable, but not having to worry about ammo for once was actually kinda refreshing. The A280 red dot felt like a solid assault rifle, and the ACP pump shotgun felt like a solid pump. Yes, I had to Google those names, because the only issue with these weapons is that really it's just hard to tell them apart, especially as a non-Star Wars fan. To me, these are all just silver blasters with no real defining visual qualities. Lightsabers are damn near useless as always. I didn't find the spaceships to be nearly as annoying as people state. In fact, it's honestly pretty easy to shoot them down if you're smart, and they're hardly the easiest to aim with, especially under fire from multiple directions. I think Galactic Battle is kinda overhated. It's a 30-day long season, and personally I would take this over another boring 2-week event pass that vaults half the ongoing season anyway. Myths and mortals. There's opportunity to put a lot more effort into the map changes and updates here. Sure, a lot of the season's content was reused from previous years, but there was a decent amount of new stuff on top to entertain. Plus an actual live event. I mean, it's just Skyfire, but Star Wars, but hey, look at that.
That's it! You people have stood in my way long enough! I'm going to
Fortnite.
I don't think any of us expected him to say that.
Chapter 6's other mini-season comes in just above. The Simpsons, wait, it's just called The Simpsons? Okay. Well, The Simpsons season doesn't actually take place on the Chapter 6 island, so it's really more of an honorable mention than anything, but I guess it's still a part of Chapter 6 despite not including any of Chapter 6's core gameplay features, or weapons, or items, or locations, or story. Anyway, as a Simpsons fan, this season was honestly kind of a trip. This is the first collab season that has centered entirely around an IP that I hold dear in my heart. I grew up watching The Simpsons and I still love that show to bits, so obviously this was super awesome. There's a lot in here for me as a fan of the show. There's all sorts of Easter eggs on the map, which in of itself is a fully explorable Springfield. They released these weekly animated Simpsons shorts, which was super cool. It's like a dream mashup, and there's even the couch gag in the actual show, and oh dear god, what did they do to Peely? I'm not sure why Bart and Lisa are stranded in the item shop and Flanders is in the battle pass, but god damn it, I'm just so glad they're all here. However, as a battle royale season, I just couldn't enjoy it that much. I'm sorry. There are all of these cool items and mid-match events and such, but the base loot pool is just so bad that it completely ruined my enjoyment of the season. Every single game, I'm just getting beamed by the damn striker assault rifle. I wanted to love this season so much, but every time I tried to give it a chance, I just found myself frustrated and let down. The smaller map is a novel idea, but it just means you're getting third or even fourth partied every fight, and that's super annoying. Honestly, I think this would be better suited as a reload collab, like the Squid Games collab back in Super. However, another major strong point is that final live event, 0 Hour, and that was absolutely freaking awesome. Seriously, might be in my top 5 story events of all time. Maybe that's just recency bias. Seeing all of the collabs from across Chapter 6 and even before come together in one epic fight against the big bad that has been teased this entire chapter was super awesome. Plus the original story elements and implications are amazing. What do you mean the red cube is here? Despite my personal grievances towards this season, I do recognize that it is widely regarded as the better of the Chapter 6 mini-seasons. And as a collab season, I think it was much more of a love letter to the original property than Galactic Battle was, which is impressive considering The Simpsons is not about guns or fighting. It's an animated sitcom, so that's an incredibly impressive feat. Plus, this is the closest we'll ever get to The Simpsons Hit and Run 2, and I'll cherish that forever. I've only had my pills for 1 month, but if anything bad happens to him, I will kill everyone in this lobby and then myself. Season 2 brought us from Place Japan to Place Detroit. Lawless is honestly not terrible. This is the 3rd heist-themed season Fortnite's done, which is already groan-worthy. However, the season actually built on the boring card-swiping heisting from chapters past with an actually enjoyable vault-cracking minigame, which for me never really got old. The base loot pool is pretty good. I'm one of those sick freaks that actually really enjoys the collateral AR, and while it is pretty outclassed by the re-hit scan striker burst rifle, I myself didn't feel hugely pressured to pick up one or the other this season. But then maybe that's because the abundance of movement items means I can pretty easily get up close and personal. Lawless is a big contributor to the run jack epidemic that Wrecked started, and while I am obviously not a fan of the bountiful abundance of low risk, no skill mobility items like the Rift launcher, for the most part the exotics were actually really fun. The Trinity assault rifle, the TF2 rocket jumper, the slapjug I guess. I love the Gilded Eye drum gun from Outlaw Midas. This thing is obviously absolutely insane, but I don't think enough people actually realized this because I didn't suffer from it too much. It was usually in my hands. The loot pool only got even better with the addition of last resort classics like my beloved Infiltrator pump, and they buffed it so now it's actually good. The main gameplay downside this season was the kneecap of bat, which was super annoying, but when they added the rocket drill later on, it basically countered the bat's full damage, which I think helped a lot. This season's main drawback is that the incentive to do the main heists really disappeared later on, as the deal bits were added to a variety of other spots, so then the gameplay basically became land at black market, buy product, win, and yeah, that's kinda weak. Overall though, this season was really enjoyable and I had a lot of fun. The train heist finally makes the train interesting again, and it's honestly kind of a challenge with those damn roof turrets. The gold rush effect makes harvesting mats a lot more fun. Yes, Crime City was kinda small, but I actually really liked dropping here, and I'm kind of glad it's not a giant maze that's impossible to completely loot. It felt a lot more packed in, so that the action was a lot more, well, action-packed. Lawless had a lot of really cool ideas. Unfortunately, they were not all executed the best, but what I played, I enjoyed.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Season 4 Shockin' Awesome rates surprisingly high for me. This is Fortnite's certified identity crisis, where they realized, oh shit, I'm 37 now, I'ma dye my hair. and vaulted half the loot pool a month in. There's a lot to love in this season, even if it is incredibly inconsistent and honestly kind of aimless. The bug invasion and drop pods, the K-pop Demon Hunters takeover, this year's Fortnite mares, it was all honestly really fun for me, even if it did feel like multiple seasons all wrapped into one, like a weird tortilla. The core gameplay that never really changed throughout the season, the OXR rifle, the sweeper shotgun, those OXR vaults and the exotics, and the map changes were strong enough to let me love the season despite all of the strange, wacky changes it saw. There was a lot of really cool stuff going on pretty much all of the time, from literal drone strikes to cute rolling aliens to Daft Punk, I guess. And while I can't really fault anyone whose enjoyment of the season dropped off throughout, I found it largely to be a really great time, and honestly more consistently fun than the 2 and a mini seasons that preceded it. Shock and Awesome also made a major, very bold change that I think will benefit the game more clearly in the seasons to come, and that's removing medallions. While medallions could be fun, they only made better players more unevenly strong, and forced you to drop into the same POIs game after game after game. In my opinion, medallions were a net negative for the game, and this season's best feat is biting the bullet and getting rid of them. Yes, this change had a lot of whiplash, and for many people, makes the season rate lower, but I think this was something that needed to happen eventually, so you know what, I'm glad it did here. The final season of a chapter is almost always the least liked since people are burnt out on the map and core loot pool by then, but for me, the major updates it got later on with the K-pop and the Fortnite mares came at the right time and helped it feel fresh all the way through. And when I wasn't feeling so fresh, I just played Delulu, and that's peak. Chapter 6, Season 1, Demon Hunters, Oni Hunters, just Hunters, whatever you call it. This season had a lot of expectations riding on it. Chapter 5 was the most divisive to date, with the metaverse push and core battle royale changes that approximately 2.7% of the player base actually enjoyed or even wanted, so Chapter 6 would be the one to bring it all back, and it really did in a home run. Honestly, Chapter 6 Season 1 might be the strongest start to a chapter we've ever had. The map was great, the loot pool was great, and there were tons of fun little side quests, like sprites, unlocking the vault in Night Shift Forest, the secret cave under magic mosses. These weren't huge features, but they made the map feel alive. The Chapter 6 Season 1 map is beautiful. There's so much to love here. There are so many great POIs. Canyon Crossing, Shogun Solitude, Seaport City, like I mentioned, Night Shift Forest, magic mosses, pumped power. There are so many great spots on this map, and Epic are very clearly proud of it because they even uploaded a 4-minute long cinematic compilation to social media, which they've never done before for any of their maps. Season 1 maps are usually kinda bland, but this one is full of life. Tons of beautiful colourful biomes, and 18 POIs at launch, goddamn! And out of the various themed annual chapters that Epic have put out, you know, you've got the medieval, the European, I think the Japanese theme here is the one that they've executed the best. It may be Place Japan, but it's my Place Japan, damn it. Hit scan came back and weapon mods are gone, which already makes this better than anything from Chapter 5, and we're actually getting unvaults again with some really interesting choices. The railgun dude? Hell yeah! The Typhoon Blade is kind of annoying, and the Twin Fire Auto Shotgun needs to fuck off forever, but the Ender Pearl here is one of the most fun mobility items in years, and I'm so happy Epic didn't shy away from making the items in the first season interesting. That's honestly Chapter 6 Season 1's strongest feat. This didn't feel like a basic-ass chapter starter. This felt like an actually new, interesting direction for the game. You can sacrifice the little chuds to these shrines, then grab a sword and fight a crazy Shogun boss fight. There was also a 2-week period where you can be Godzilla, and that's kind of aura. The Typhoon Blade could definitely be a bit of a problem. The swipe attack had insane range and area of effect, and the only real counter to it was having your own blade, which I'm never really a fan of. But the only real point of criticism that I can give to the season is that the Winterfest holiday event was a little weak. I guess there was that defrosting live event. That was kinda cool. Also Hatsune Miku. Ironically, Season 1's biggest crime of all is that the starting locations were just too good. It made it hard for the rest of the chapter's map changes to live up to that insane standard set by Season 1, and as a result, the map just kind of got worse over time in a lot of ways. I'm looking at you, Lawless Biome. You even had this breathtaking live event at the end of the season. This is the first time they've done a major story live event in the first season of a chapter. Wish I could have watched it. Chapter 6 was great. This was a real return to form. And don't get me wrong, there were some dodgy moments in there, but I genuinely do not think that this chapter had even one bad season. I'd love to hear your rankings, so let me know what they are. I might even read them. Of course, Chapter 6 is hot off the presses, so in a year or so, once I've had longer to formulate my opinions about each individual season, my opinion might have changed. Who knows? I might wake up in a cold sweat one night in 8 months' time and go, damn, Galactic Battle really did suck ass.
I'm elite, baby, don't you see the outfit? Double pumps don't matter, man, I got this.